Hello and welcome to Kurtz Ersa here at SMT Connect. I'm joined by Tom Burks, who's area sales manager for a very different range of territories. I mean, you're based in Benelux, of course, Tom,
Yes.
but you cover quite a few different territories. Why don't you tell our viewers where you represent?
Okay, I'm Tom Burks from Ersa. I'm an area sales manager, and I'm responsible for the markets in Benelux, Ireland. Then I go to the south, France, Italy, Portugal, Greece. Then I'm also responsible for a few Eastern European countries, Hungary and Romania. And then as a nice extra, I'm also responsible for Australia and New Zealand.
Australia and New Zealand, that's
Yes.
an interesting one to get put in there. Have you got many customers down in that territory?
We have quite some customers. It's more smaller customers, it's interesting customers. And it's nicer to handle them from Europe because their mentality and way of thinking is more European than they is, let's say, Asian, where they are very close to. Yeah.
It's very true, and so that was probably part of the decision to put that part of your portfolio, was that their thinking was more European.
Yes, that's.
So let's talk about the technology a bit. I mean, obviously, Kurtz Ersa, very innovative company in all sorts of soldering techniques. I talked this morning in one of the panel discussions about robotic soldering. This is an area that seems that Kurtz Ersa is moving further and further into. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, what we see a lot of times is that people want to go more and more to automation. And then the implementation in a solder line or a selective solder line of a robot or even some kind of inserter machines is now a big issue. People want to have more reliability, want to have more traceability. And of course also in Western Europe, people want to have less and less people involved in the line because people cost a lot of money in here. Yeah?
Yeah, well, it is difficult to actually get trained operators. There is a shortage for sure.
It's in certain parts of Europe, it's very difficult. Even in certain Eastern European countries where there is a lot of combination of electronics, for instance in the Timișoara area in Romania, that it's very difficult to find trained and good operators. Yeah.
But I mean, if we look at automation, as you say, and break that down into robotics, which is fairly straightforward, and the soldering process, that becomes a lot more difficult, trying to emulate hand soldering, for example, in an automatic soldering process.
Yep. We are, for a long time already, working on the selective soldering world, and all machines can do more and more, and also faster and faster. Now we have selective soldering machines with individual pots, up to 6 individual pots, where we can replace a lot of people hand soldering. And we have, of course, the reliability of the machine and always the same quality with the machine. And we are a lot faster because we can put much more power in there.
Right, okay. So one of your initiatives, I believe, is Global Point. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Global Point is a company that was recently bought by Ersa. And they are making tracking systems in the industry. This can mean in a reflow business, this can be in a wave, this can be in a selective or even in a vapor phase machine. And now we are trying to get a bit more market share with our technology to also to implement it a bit more automatic in our machines. That's the next step we will go to. And also, of course, this Global Point technology is available for other type of machines.
So Global Point Technology is a software system that's doing mapping.
It's a software system that is checking the quality of your equipment and also giving you information and help by making the programs of your individual products that you want to solder or want to reflow.
Okay. So looking at the machines when they're actually operating out in the field, there's different approaches with different companies in this industry as to how to effect maintenance and do customer support. Some people are going down the augmented reality route. Some people are using tablets or phones to have a look inside the machine. You've got a slightly different approach. Can you explain that and why?
Yeah, what we are doing now, we are going to some kind of an Ersa cloud, so we can connect different machines worldwide from the same customer, also in a connection with our service department. We can monitor from Ersa out, of course, only what the end customer wants to show us. We can monitor the machine, we can give them a help, we can tell them when certain parts will be, where there is a need to improve it, where they have to change certain motors at the end of the lifetime. We can help them with the quality of the machines, but we can also monitor the process that they are working with the machines. Yeah? And the more information they give to us, the more we can help them. Yeah?
But I mean, the principal concern when it comes to these types of support is security. So you're not using systems that are likely to cause any issues in that respect because you're using data straight off of the PLCC.
That's where we get the data. Yeah, it's not that somebody is standing there with a camera or with an iPad to show us, because people are very afraid, because you never know what is on the background, and sometimes they are working with sensitive boards, with sensitive customers. So we are going really to the information coming from the machines.
Okay. So interesting to catch up on what's happening here. It's a Productronica year. Are we going to see some new equipment and new systems coming out in Munich later this year?
Yes, we will come with some new improvements, and we will come with a vacuum system on the reflow. That's one of the bigger points we will have, and we will even implement more and more automation in our products, so that we will show also more things at Productronica. This is why the S&T show is a little bit more on the safe side, I would say. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, Tom, and we look forward to seeing you in November.
Hey, thank you.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Thank you.